I brought the graph, right? I mean, the question is, does that rise? And also, secondly, I brought another graph because I thought, is it correlated with that, which is the graph that shows the CO2 emissions, the CO2 in parts per million in the atmosphere?
He would go back to his church officials and immediately give them a debriefing of everything that he said and everything that I said. Here, the guy who was walking on water was a traitor.
I do not think he was a spy for his church.
You know, I was shocked and devastated because I had no idea about this.
If he walks into the president's office and reads a nuclear code, if it turns out that Superman is a double agent, what do you do?
And the physical mechanisms, and we understood those since the 19th century.
Brian,
I mean, I can teach you. I can
you go back to the
I'll give
middle
you a
of the
lesson
graph?
if you want.
We make it hype, and you want us to print this.
What's a 187?
I keep my eyes on my niggas when I fucking creep up. Cause if I sleep, then I get jacked.
You know what I mean?
Check the thermometer, every kilometer rises by heat pressure. Your thermostat couldn't measure. Working familiar, atom bombs from Australia. Dark ages, so read the pages, mighty Malachi. Born on the cusp between love and lust. Genesis to Exodus, Lazarus, / Black Barnabas. The holy temple be the mental. You and I see Islamic Hindu, understand the clear picture.
Teacher,
Can you go back to the
I'll give
middle
you a
of the
lesson
graph?
if you want. I can give you.
Can you go back to the middle of the graph there?
Yeah, that graph.
Yeah, the peak in the middle.
Yep,
What year is that?
that's about 1941.
Yeah, 1930s and 40s were warmer than the current decades. Where's that?
Well, no,
what's the data source?
Well, not exactly.
No, the original record. The original records are far warmer. But the other thing that tells me that graph has got something wrong with it is that 1998 was about the same as 2015-16.
Okay, I'm just going to pause here. So you're hearing.
It was an El Nino year.
Both were El Nino years. That's the point you're taking it out of
Malcolm, just
context.
1 second. You're hearing the interpretation of a highly qualified scientist, and you're just saying, I don't believe it. Is it?
It's your boy, you fam legacy. Get your minds ready.
All the time in the world, oh, really sounds silly. That kind of frame of mind is not funny. Can't run from the penalty. Time is telling me, face that.
There's a file cabinet that's got a folder full of this stuff in it. This church had a problem with the government. He would go back to his church officials and immediately give them a debriefing of everything that he said and everything that I said.
Michael went on television and everything he says the public believes. Went on television and said, I don't have sex because of my religious beliefs, and the public believed it. I know brothers was like, get the fuck out of here. And white people going, that Michael's a special kind of guy. He's special. I mean, he's good, clean, and wholesome. Y'all believe it?
I'm saying two things. First of all, that the data has been corrupted, and we know that the 1930s were warmer than today.
Yeah. Corrupted? What do you mean corrupted?
Been manipulated and
By who?
By NASA. By the yes.
The people. Hang on a minute. No.
What a place, the Grand Canyon.
This is quite serious.
No, I'm going to just ask the audience,
serious.
just hang on. We've actually got to hear what's being said here. So it's all very well to laugh, but we want to hear what's being said.
This is rebel gunplay. It ain't safe. This game like the water gate. Back the place.
Are you ready for lyrical biochemical warfare? See your carpeted bodies when the smoke clears. Should've wore a gas mask for the nerve gas we dispense. Are you ready for lyrical biochemical warfare? See your carpeted bodies when the smoke clears. Should've wore a gas mask for the nerve gas we dispense. Yo, you third eye blind, I can tell you still swine. I'm one of a kind, every rhyme's a landmine. Everything I touch blow up.
It's a fact. Now, the Bureau of Meteorology is exactly the same. And Greg Hunt squashed an investigation of the Bureau of Meteorology earlier this year.
Okay, all right, Greg Hunt.
Can I just check you one thing? NASA. Now, NASA.
Yes.
The people that landed men on the moon.
I
should just ask, actually, you believe we landed men on the moon? But,
see the little trick there?
The legacy's ready. Inhale the breath of life, resurrect the death of Christ. What you got to sacrifice? I'm on some other. Take over the mothership. Brothers get the clean and covenant. Universal loving it. Island boy, you rubbing it.
It's questioning whether or not I believe that I'm a moon skeptic. Now,
are you?
No, I'm not.
Oh, right. No.
Not bad for a hole.
But, I mean, it's a serious accusation. I mean, the idea that NASA and presumably, I should say to people, the Australian Academy of Science have done a brilliant. You can never get any sense on programs like this. They're adversarial and things. But the science of climate change, the Australian, the Met Office in the UK, everybody is collaborating to manipulate global temperature data.
Are you accusing me of saying they're collaborating?
Well, they've all manipulated it in the same way and accidentally got to the same answer. Is that what you're saying?
NASA was led by James Hansen.
What about the Met Office in the UK then?
As far as I'm concerned, politics should be based on empirical evidence. All policy should be based on empirical evidence. I've heard consensus, which is not science. I've heard appeals to authority, which is not science. But hang on.
The evidence.
That may be true. But then again, if you read their paperwork, which I have here, and it states here...
Get your boy, you fam legacy. Get your minds ready.
Hang on.
Tito, get me some tissue.
Hang on, Brian. You showed me a graph of temperature.
Yeah, but I could show you.
You showed me a graph of temperature, but...
Jermaine, stop teasing.
No one has ever explained cause and effect.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff of the Falcon 9 and DART on NASA's first planetary defense test to intentionally crash into an asteroid.
And he's talking about the number of people infected in the past 4 months of the pandemic in Victoria is 4 times larger than the number infected in the last 14 months. Neither have vaccines provided the immunity from infection we were led to expect. It provides personal protection against severe illness but will not slow the spread or remove the risk of death altogether. Victorian health authorities remain coy about how many of the 330 people in intensive care were double vaccinated, but the data from more open jurisdictions such as Britain suggests many of them are. The same data also suggests vaccinated people are more likely to spread the virus than the unvaccinated, because they might be asymptomatic and not know they have it. The exclusion of the unvaccinated from public places is untenable on public health grounds unless the object is deterrence through humiliation. That's what we're up against. And I say to the members of Parliament, go and get your facts, know what you're talking about, stand up for the rights of the Australian people, and we actually have to find the answers, but don't deny them the right to their freedoms to choose, and don't stop them from working in this nation, wanting to open up the borders, allow millions to come into the country to take their jobs. Martin Fletcher stating, oh, well, that's not really true. saying the agency did not have the power to deregister health professionals and adding that its vaccine stance was in line with that of the government. That may be true, but then again, if you read their paperwork, which I have here, and it states here that practitioners must be careful not to discourage their patient or client from seeking vaccination. Practitioners authorised to prescribe and or administer vaccine but who have a conscientious objection must ensure appropriate referral options are provided for vaccination. So if you can't give it to someone else who is going to give it to them, regardless of doctor-patient. And then we go on to say here, any promotion of anti-vaccination statements or health advice which contradicts the best available scientific evidence from who? What scientists? Are we listening to all science? No, we're not, because they're shut down. Or seeks to actively undermine the national immunisation campaign. This is what the politicians want for you, including via social media. It's not supported by national boards and may be in breach of the codes of conduct and subject to investigation and possibly regulatory action. So that means, and it states that they will be actually fined or in fear of losing their licences. Why do you think these doctors are in fear of coming out? They will tell us personally behind the scenes, but they don't want to lose their licences that they've worked so hard for to work in the best interests of the public, but they're shut down to have an opinion over this.
My parameter, tangent diameter, barcodes are scanned from America to Canada. What? From America to Canada. Get your mind ready. Great heart, verbal courage, battle the seminar, boy you fam legacy. Watch us travel for positive energy. Always correct errors, boy you fam rule. And forever what? Get your mind ready.
And so this is a view of the Stage 1 Falcon 9 booster. You can see those hypersonic grid fins beginning to extend. The shot is a little bit dark, but you can see them.
All the misses only getting kisses. Got all the time in the world. Oh, really sounds silly. That kind of frame of mind is not funny. Can't run from the penalty. Simon telling me. Face that and
so you could see it looking towards the left end of the first stage, and you can see those engines coming to life.
Stage 1 chamber pressure is nominal.
And Falcon 9 will be reaching max Q in just seconds, the moment of peak mechanical stress on the rocket.
And here in the Mission Data Center, we can feel the rumble from the Falcon 9, and it's always amazing to hear and feel.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Everything looking good right now. It's really shaking the building where we are.
Vehicle supersonic.
Just heard that call out for supersonic. Going faster than the speed of sound.
Max Q.
And we've just passed max Q, that moment of peak mechanical stress on Falcon 9.
And everything's looking good. We're still getting some nice views.